It's time for another action-packed event in the World Endurance Championship, as the series returns to the wonderful country of Belgium. In the past, the former WEC events at Spa-Francorchamps have always been entertaining, and heading into this race, there are a lot of questions that need to be answered. So in this race preview, I will break down all the details that you need to know ahead of the 2025 edition of the Total Energy 6 Hours of Spa. Not only is this event bound to provide some awesome racing, but it also is crucially important for all the teams and drivers because it is the penultimate venue before the big race in June, the 24 Hours of Le Mans, as a lot of teams and drivers will use this event to be prepared. The 6 Hours of Spa is classified as the third round in the 2025 World Endurance Championship, and we are coming back from another epic race in Imola last time out, where Ferrari AF Corsa and their drivers Alessandro Pierguidi, James Calado, and Antonio Giovinazzi were able to secure Ferrari's first prototype endurance victory on home soil since 2001. And one of the big questions heading into Spa is, will Ferrari be able to win again? So far, the Italian manufacturer has secured all overall wins in the WEC in 2025. Earlier, they won the Qatar 1812 km with a 1-2-3 result with the number 50 entry on top. And like I said, they won at Imola with the number 51 car. And there's a good chance they win here at Spa as well. Historically speaking, Ferrari arguably had the fastest car in 2024 alongside Porsche. And if it wasn't for the red flag caused by the massive crash involving the number 2 Cadillac, the Italian brand would have likely won that race in 2024. Speaking of Porsche, here at Spa, they need to bounce back stronger in hypercar, as so far it's been a miserable season, and last year they were super competitive with all 963 teams, so hopefully they can get their first big haul of points in round 3. Also, it's very important for you to know that this is the first of 2 WEC events this season which clash with an IMSA WeatherTech sports car round, as Laguna Seca's TireRack.com Monterey Sports Car Championship race happens this weekend, and the clash between the two races will definitely have implications on the WEC event as well as the IMSA one. For the 6 Hours of Spa this year, 36 cars will be on the grid, just like all previous 2025 rounds, with 18 in Hypercar and 18 in LMGT3, and in fact, this is one less entry from last year. The noticeable difference in cars from last year at Spa includes the arrival of the Aston Martin Valkyrie Hypercar from the Heart of Racing team and the Mercedes AMG GT3 entries from the Iron Lynx, while we do see the absence of the Lamborghini SC63 and the Huracan GT3 Evo 2, as well as the Tipo 6 LMH Competizione from Isotta Fraschini, which was here last year. Because of the Laguna Seca IMSA venue, there are going to be some driver changes. In Hypercar, BMW WRT drivers Dries Vanthoor and Sheldon van der Linde won't be here at all, with the 2 M Hybrid V8 cars having just 2 racers on board. Meanwhile, Porsche Penske Motorsport's third racers Mathieu Jaminet and Matt Campbell will also be at Laguna, but unlike BMW, Porsche has assigned replacements. Replacing Campbell in the number 6 Porsche will be Formula E champion Pascal Wehrlein, and this is great news for him as he prepares for his debut at the 24 Hours of Le Mans aboard the number 4 Porsche 963. As for the switch in the number 5 car, Jaminet's replacement will be Nico Müller, and this is also great news for the Swiss racer as he is the test and reserve driver for the team at Le Mans. And by the way, Pascal Wehrlein and Nico Müller have already driven a 963 in the past, as they both competed for JDC Miller Motorsports in 2025 in IMSA, with Wehrlein in the car at Daytona and Müller in the car at Sebring. Elsewhere in LMGT3, there is a change at Iron Lynx, as Christian Ried will not be able to continue his role as a driver in the number 61 Mercedes AMG GT3, alongside his team principal duties with Proton Competition, with his replacement for the race being the team's ELMS racer Martin Barry, who is also set to return for Le Mans in the third Iron Lynx Mercedes, so this will be good practice for the Australian racer. Another change for Iron Lynx at Spa is that the father and son duo, Stefan and Brenton Grove, will jump into the number 60 Mercedes AMG GT3 car from the team alongside Matteo Cairoli, and they will be replacing Claudio Schiavone and Matteo Cressoni for this event. Finally, Ben Barnico is still recovering from his cycling incident, so Akota's ASP lines up Toyota Gazoo racing driver and Super GT racer Yuichi Nakayama aboard the number 78 Lexus, with Finn Gerzitz and Arnaud Robin as his co-drivers. Ever since 1999, Spa's sports car event has been going on every single year for 25 races in a row, and excluding the 24 Hours of Le Mans, the 6 Hours of Spa also remains the only race to feature in every season of the World Endurance Championship. This race can trace its roots back to 1953, with Ferrari and Porsche equally having the most wins here, with 10 achieved so far, but that record could change in 2025. The first ever event classified in the WEC was held when the championship was reborn in 2012, when Audi won the race, coming away with a dominant 1-2-3-4 result, which in fact was the only time a team secured the top 4 places overall in the entire history of the World Endurance Championship. Interestingly, the 6 Hours of Spa actually was the race which debuted the hypercar class, as in 2021, cars using the hypercar regulations were allowed to start racing, with the Toyota GR010 Hybrid being the first ever LMH car to start racing, with the Japanese automaker's entries making their debuts here at Spa. Last year, victory in both classes was obtained by Porsche, but in hypercar, it wasn't a factory 963 that won overall, but the customer number 12 Porsche from Hertz Team Jota, with Callum Ilott and Will Stevens taking the overall victory. Over an LMGT3, a miscalculation from Iron Lynx and Lamborghini on fuel for their number 60 entry gifted the number 91 Manthey EMA Porsche the win, with drivers Maurice Shireen, Richard Leitz, and Yasser Shaheen driving the 911 GT3R to the victory. And by the way, it was actually a Porsche 1-2 in both classes, with the number 6 Porsche Penske entry finishing second in hypercar, with the number 92 Manthey Pure Racing GT3 coming in second in the GT class. Ahead of the 2025 event, Hertz Team Jota are hoping to defend the winner's crown at Spa. This time round though, they'll have their new Cadillac V Series R entries instead of the Porsche 963s. However, they are going to have some tough competition if they wish to win again. Opened in August of 1921, Spa is one of Europe's oldest racecourses that still exist today, and ever since then it remains situated in the Ardennes forest near Stavelot, Belgium, and the circuit has 19 turns which make up the 4.3 mile or nearly 7 kilometer track. Spa-Francorchamps is of course a prominent fixture on many calendars of motor racing series. For example, the track hosts the Belgian Grand Prix in Formula 1, which is the most popular event here at Spa. Speaking of popularity, you might want to know that the WEC event is actually not the most famous endurance racing venue at this iconic circuit, as in fact, the title is handed to the race known as the 24 Hours of Spa, which has been held annually for 100 years since 1924. And don't worry, I will be covering the 2025 event of this iconic endurance race later on in the year when it happens. Moving on to the balance of performance adjustments for the 6 Hours of Spa in 2025. In the hypercar class and on the power side of things, the Peugeot 9X8 hypercar, the Alpine A424, and the Aston Martin Valkyrie AMR LMH are the most powerful cars on the grid, while the Toyota GR010 remains the least powerful. Then when it comes to weight, the Peugeot 9X8 hypercar remains the lightest car on the grid, while the Toyota GR010 is also the heaviest car on the grid once again. When it comes to noticeable adjustments in this category from Imola to Spa, Ferrari and Toyota have both been hit negatively on the balance of performance, while the Aston Martin Valkyrie has gained a lot of power, which actually makes it the most powerful car on the grid alongside the Alpine and the Peugeot. Meanwhile, for the BOP adjustments in LMGT3, on the power side there aren't many changes, with Ferrari at the top of the list and Ford at the bottom. And speaking of the Mustang GT3, it also remains the lightest car on the grid, while the Corvette Z06 GT3R continues to be the heaviest. Let's now move on to the championship standings heading out of round 2 in Imola. In the hypercar class, Ferrari occupy the top 3 slots, with the number 51 Ferrari at the top with an 11-point gap to the number 83 AF Corsa Ferrari. Then comes Foco, Molina, and Nielsen's Ferrari, which is the number 50 entry, which is placed in 3rd. Then, completing the top 5 are the 2 BMW M Hybrid V8 entries from Team WRT, with the number 20 entry moving ahead of the number 15 following the podium finish at Imola. After the Ferraris and BMWs comes the number 8 Toyota GR010 with the sister number 7 car placed just behind. Following those Toyotas is the number 36 Alpine with the number 12 Hertz Team Jota Cadillac right behind, with the number 93 Peugeot 9X8 hypercar completing the top 10. Meanwhile, in LMGT3, the number 33 TF Sport Corvette is still at the top with 44 points, following its win in Qatar and its 7th place finish here in Imola. The number 78 Akotis ASP Lexus now jumps into 2nd, with the number 59 United Autosports McLaren now in 3rd. Following its win in Imola, the number 92 Manthey First Form car jumps into 4th, ahead of the 2 Team WRT BMW M4s, which are in 5th and 6th, the number 31 ahead of the number 46. Then comes the pair of Ferrari 296 GT3 entries from Vista AF Corsa, with the 54 ahead of the 21. While the number 87 Akotis ASP Lexus is in 9th, with the number 27 Heart of Racing Aston Martin Vantage completing the top 10. As for the schedule and race times, the 6 Hours of Spa will be taking place on Saturday, May 10th, with the endurance race starting at precisely 2 p.m. local time, and it's scheduled to end at 8 p.m. local time. And by the way, the Circuit des Spa-Francorchamps is located in the Central European Standard Time Zone. Meanwhile, the way you can catch the action live is by going to FIA-WEC.tv to view the broadcast, and the link to that is in the description below. If that option is not available though, you will need to check your area's broadcast options. For example, in the USA, the WEC Racing is available on the Max streaming service. And by the way, more info on those options will be posted in the description below. So that completes this race preview detailing all the information that you need to know ahead of the 2025 Total Energy 6 Hours of Spa. So now I want to know, who do you think is going to be winning this event this time round? Will it be Ferrari once again in the hypercar class, or will another manufacturer win? And are you excited for this venue to take place in Belgium? Well, be sure to let me know all your thoughts in the comments below.